Hey there, this is Kunal and welcome to yet another video in the series of socket programming. And in the previous video, we learned how to create a client server calculator based application. And in that video, we learned that the client takes an input from the user and then it sends the set of operations to the client to the server, and then server calculates the answer and returns it back to the client, and the client displays it. So in this video, we would be learning how to sort an array. Uh, in this video, we would be kind of learning how to create a client server application, which would be sorting an array using a sorting algorithm. So basically, the client would be taking the input and sending it to the server, and the server will sort the array using a proper sorting algorithm. So in this video, we would be taking the help of bubble sort, and as you know, bubble sort is a simple sorting algorithm, and this sorting algorithm is comparison based algorithm in which each pair of adjacent elements is compared, and its worst time complexity is O of n squared. So at first we would be looking at the server side of code, and then we would be looking at the client side of code. And I have told repeatedly that it is mandatory that two windows must be running simultaneously. One would be running for your server side and the second one would be running for your client side. So on opening the server side code, we have the code, and starting from line number 1, I have included all the header files which would be used or required to include the functions in writing this program. So starting from the main function, okay, so before that, so the bubble sort logic or the bubble sort code would be out of the main function. And keeping that in mind, I have written the function declaration in line number 8. So starting from the main function, as usual, I have declared certain variables of int data type in line number 13. Then at the line number 14, there is two variables, that is server and client, of the data type or of the structure, sock addr underscore n, which is a predefined function which contains the members to declare the address of the socket descriptor. So then in line number 15, there is again one variable, that is message, of the type integer, and another message, that is I. So as usual, as we have been doing this in repeatedly in the last two videos, we would be repeating that step again. So we would be creating the socket using the socket function, and if the value returned by socket function into the variable socket underscore descriptor turns out to be -1, we would be printing that we have failed to create a socket. And if the socket has been created successfully, so we would be printing the message otherwise, that, and then we would be assigning the address to the socket that we have created. So we have defined the domain of the address to be that of the internet domain by assigning af underscore init to sin underscore family. And then in line number 26, we have used in addr underscore any to s underscore addr, which is of the member of sin underscore addr. So basically what we have done in line number 26, or what we usually did before that, we used to assign an IP address of 127.0.0.1, which is your loopback IP address. And in case we don't want to assign any IP address, then we would be writing in addr underscore any, and in that case the system would automatically be assigning an IP address on its own. And then we would be using the receive function to receive the input from the client, or the message in this case from the client. And the receive function has four parameters. The first one is the client socket descriptor and not the server one. So as I told, from the accept function, from the point of accept function, we would be using a different socket descriptor. In this case, it is client underscore sock. The second parameter is the message that we have received, and the third parameter is the size. And at the last, we have assigned 0. and the value returned by receive function would be stored in read underscore size, and then we would be calling the bubble sort function in line number 57, which has two parameters. So once the bubble function has been called, we would be going to line number 73, and from line number 73 to line number 88, it's the usual bubble sort algorithm which we use anytime to sort the array, given that the set of input or the data set is not large. And as we all know, the bubble sort works great for the set of data which is very small and it's sorted already or nearly sorted. So in that case, the bubble sort function performs at its best, and the time complexity of bubble sort is O of n square in its worst case. On opening the client side of code, declared a variable called sock of int type. Then in line number 12, I have declared a variable that is server of the data of the structure type sock addr underscore in. Then at line number 13, there is this server underscore reply of integer type. Then at line number 14, there is this array, and I have already assigned the values to the array number. So first we will be creating the socket as usual and returning the value to a variable called sock, then checking it if the socket has been created correctly or not. Then we would be assigning the address same as compared to your server side of program. Then we would be using the connect function to connect to the server, and the connect function is only used by your client. And then after applying the connect function, we would be checking if it has been applied successfully or not and printing the message accordingly in line number 33. So after we have connected to the server side of program, we would be using the send function to send the input or to send the array, that is the unsorted array, to the server using the send function, and then the server would be using your receive function to receive the unsorted array. And once we have used the send function, we would be checking whether the sending part has been done correctly or not. And one thing you will find common here, that at regular intervals we are applying a conditional statement to check whether we are going in the right direction or not. So basically it is a good programming practice to apply a check whether the functions or the statements you are using are correct or not, and whether you are going in the right direction. And at last we would be receiving the reply from the server once the server has sorted that array using the bubble sort algorithm using the receive function. So the receive function yet again contains 10 parameters, and we would be applying a check whether we have received the message successfully. So after every function we are applying a check. At last we would be printing the message or printing the sorted array in the client side using your for loop. And once it has been done, then we would be closing the connection using the close function. So that was it from the client side as well. Now we would be running the code in our terminal. At first we would be compiling your server side, because the server has to be set up first. In case there is no server and the client has been set up, so where does the client usually connect to? The server side. And if in case there is no server present, so where would the client connect? That is the reason why we are first compiling the server side, and on compiling we have not received any errors, so let's execute it. On executing, we have received the message saying the socket has been created successfully, the binding has been done, and waiting for incoming connections. Now is the point we can go to your client side. So on compiling client side of code, uh, we are good to go to execute. So on executing, the client side, as you had seen that I had already assigned the values to the array beforehand. So you can also do that. You can also go for user defined input. So this was it, and this is also the end for the TCP oriented client server model. And from the next video we would be looking at the UDP style of model, or how we can create a client server application using UDP. So till now we were using or creating the client server application using the TCP. From next video we would be jumping to the UDP side.